Hello, we are live. Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Call. This is my channel. This is the comic page we're working on. This is a short story I've been working on last couple of streams. This is page 2. Over the last 2 weeks, we worked on getting it all penciled, and now we're going to start inking it. And is my focus being goofy? I don't know. I'll keep an eye on it. It's acting kind of goofy. All right, so we're going to start with inking. I have this the Karatake Zig Super Black Ink 60 I've been using lately, which again, I'm not 100% sold on this. I did just get a couple of other ones recently that I haven't tried yet. Maybe we'll try one of these and see how it is. There's the Speedball Super Black. Oh yeah, my focus is jumping around. Why is it doing that? I turned you off, autofocus. Foolish thing. All right, so there's that, and then there's platinum carbon ink, and a whole bunch of letters I can't read. I can't read any of that. So I don't know. I tried Speedball before, but it's been a long time since I've tried Speedball. Let's get this Speedball Super Black India ink. 100% carbon black pigment, waterproof once dry. So hopefully it will actually do that to keep from freezing, mix well before using, clean using soap and warm water, or Speedball pen cleaner. Hey, I've got some of that. All right, so we're going to give it a shaky shake. See, oh, it's sealed. I gotta struggle with. Oh, what it did the. Frustration. It's kind of how my day has gone today. Lots of goofy frustrations. Of course, this little seal on top is like shredding instead of just pulling off nicely. Why wouldn't it? Okay. I've gotten like 90% of it off now. And my fingers are all inky. All right, we're going to start up here. Getting this nice little, oh gosh, focus. What is the happening with the focus here? Okay, let me try to fix that, because that is just not good. Wait for that control panel to open up. I'll continue this a little bit. Anytime now. Anytime. All right. So what's going on? Autofocus. Turn you back on, and now turn you back off. Okay. Now stay off. There we go. Hey, Spud. Thanks so much for joining me. Hopefully I've fixed my autofocus issues now, and it'll stop jumping around and trying to focus on the wrong part of the stuff on the screen. How are you doing this evening? Hey, Hungry. Hope everyone is doing well and has had a good week since we were all last together. Good. Good to have a productive day. My day has involved a lot of running around in circles and not getting as much done as I would have liked. But what you gonna do? Some days are just kind of like that. You do what you can. Nice crawling people. Yeah, I had to redo it a couple of times because it just kept on coming out not quite how I wanted it to be. So I was like, that doesn't look right. What's going on here? All right, I've got kind of like a shape I want the line of the grass to follow, so I want to give myself a few guidelines so I don't get totally confused here. So in the last week, what have I been up to? I've been up to a fair amount, actually. Skirmisher launched their Aesopia Kickstarter last week, so that's still going to be running for a few more weeks. It's off to a nice, strong start, but we haven't quite hit our goal yet. So it uses the TSRPG system. You get to play animal people, minimum rules. It's very fun. And I've had way too much fun working on it in playtest and illustrating it. Because, like, okay, I gotta show you guys. Look at these characters I made. That's my friend Abby's dog. That's Kaylee. And now Kaylee gets to be one of the characters. And then I also did this bunny. Well, they're called rarebits in the game world in Aesopia. They're called rarebits, and this guy is like a bare knuckle boxer rarebit. And they're just so much fun. It's so much fun. I'll probably be posting him like later this evening because just too much fun. All right. Got that figure done. Got to get a little bit more of the kind of shadow in the grass where they're kind of leaned over. This is definitely a lot smoother flowing than the Kuretake ink was. I do like that. So what else happened over this past week? I went to Dragon Prom. That was so much fun. Went to Dragon Prom. So Dragon Prom was basically like, I guess a bunch of folks who work at the University of Maine were just like, hey, let's throw a dance party. Let's throw a prom. That sounds like it would be fun. And at first it started as just like oh yeah, let's just do that with a handful of us from the department. And then it turned into, well, we should invite these people and we should invite these people. And then it turned into like a whole event that was open to whoever. And so they had like a suggested donation at the door, which went to Mabel Wadsworth Center, which is like a local women's clinic. And so yeah, it turned into a whole thing, and it was like a whole prom with like a DJ and lots of decorations and fun lights and everybody dressed up to varying degrees. Everything from like very fancy formal dresses to costumes, just very, very fun. The whole thing was a ridiculously good time. And I didn't know about it until like 2 days before it happened because because my friend Abby's friend was one of the people who was on the prom committee throwing this event, and so they were going, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you have to come too!" So it was a dragon prom because it was like nominally a Lunar New Year celebration as well, but primarily just an excuse to have a prom, and so it ended up being dragon themed. And though they were like, well, initially we had called it Dragon Prom because it's Year of the Dragon, but also Dragon Prom just has such a fun ring to it. It might be Dragon Prom forever now if they do it again. Even like, it does just it's always Dragon Prom just because that's fun. What comes after Dragon? Who knows? Anyone know? What comes after Dragon? Hey.
I have to look it up.
Okay. Well, you hadn't acknowledged that you heard my question.
Snake.
That's what I thought. Snake. I don't think it's gonna be Snake Prom. I feel like that doesn't have the yes. Spud also got it at like the same time. Year of the Snake. Yeah, I don't. I feel like Snake Prom has the same ring to it as Dragon Prom, and I feel like people might mistake it for being an actual like herpetology enthusiast event, which it would not be. It would still just be a dance party. Character's got a freckly face. I don't normally do comics entirely in just pen and ink, so this is kind of like I'm having to give this a little bit of thought as I go of how I want to build some of these areas. But yeah, after last time, I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna. After the last page, I was like, yeah, you know what? Sure, let's just do this whole thing in pen and ink, something different. It's just something I'm doing for my own amusement. It does not on any kind of timetable. So yes, doing it all as pen and ink is going to take a while. I will probably not do the whole thing on various streams, but you know, that's fine. Just had to clean a little bit of gunk off my pen. Take a moment to take a sip of tea. And these characters are pretty young, so we want to preserve those nice round faces. You okay over there?
Mosquito.
A mosquito? All right, we've got characters peeking over the top here. Gotta do that little line of grass up front. Do. Just building up this tone. Nice and easy to zone out to. It's the kind of thing that I always like to record in time lapse and then watch played back, kind of speed it up because it's just so satisfying to see it go like. Hey, it's Keith. Doing pretty good. How about yourself? Doing pretty good, except for the bug incursion. Mosquitoes in the studio. I had a ladybug in my coffee this morning. I was like, what is this? Good. Glad to hear it. Thankfully, I had already had most of the cup of coffee and I was bopping around getting ready for the day. Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, what? Why? I was getting ready for the day and I like went to take another sip of coffee after it had been sitting on the counter for a minute. And as soon as I had the sip in my mouth, I felt it in my mouth. Didn't see it in the cup beforehand. Felt it in my mouth. And I was just like, oh no. And I just panicked and like spit the coffee out all on the floor, which of course meant that it splattered everywhere in my kitchen. And I had a giant spit coffee mess to clean up now, in addition to getting ready for my day. And I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm done with coffee now. And I posted about this on Facebook of like, what is this? Why did this happen? Come on now. What is life? And one of my friends, who this is extremely on brand for her, responded with, that was not a ladybug. That was an Asian ladybird beetle because ladybugs do not go inside. I'm just like, I don't care which type of bug it was. I don't want it in my coffee. I promise you, Asian ladybird beetles are not any better in coffee. It's just like, way to stay on brand, friend. Would expect nothing less out of her. Just it makes all the difference, sure. Totally. Oh, goodness. Some people are just funny. All right, we've got two panels inked. Moving on down here, we're gonna start working on some of these standing stones with their moss and grass growing up the sides. What is happening? Get over here. Trying to make sure I'm staying in frame here. Yeah, I would say the Speedball ink is working better than the Kuretake ink did. It's flowing a lot better. And it's like, I know I tried Speedball ink, but I will grant you that that was approximately a million years ago. I don't know. It was a long time ago. And sometimes, sometimes you'll try something, and I've run into this a few times with various art supplies, is that I tried something a long time ago and like my skills were not at the same place that they are now. I didn't use my tools the same as I do now. I didn't have the same kind of like technique and confidence with a lot of the tools that I do now. And so that really affected my experience with some of these supplies. And so it's easy to get set in your ways, but it is also worthwhile to sometimes go back and try something that you're like, "Oh, I did try that a long time ago and it didn't quite work for me," or whatever. Well, it may have been you were not in the right place at the right time to use it. Also, art supplies do change quality over time sometimes, like because different materials become more or less available, or because companies change hands or they upgrade formulas or whatever else. Like sometimes things do actually legitimately just change in quality and how easy they are to use. So that's another reason to try stuff out, change it occasionally. Hey, it's someone sane. Thanks so much for joining me. I mean, yes, unfortunately, a lot of times what we tend to notice is when the quality of art products that we use goes down drastically for no good reason. But if the quality of an art supply that you are not using regularly actually increases, you wouldn't know unless you try it again. So we do all sorts of little dots of moss and grass. Oh, I don't think someone Sane and Keith were here earlier when I was showing off this very fun other side, completely unrelated thing that I've been working on. Because I know I mentioned last week the Aesopia Kickstarter that Skirmisher is working on. Look, I have so much fun drawing these animal people. Look at that. That's my friend Abby's dog, Kaylee. But she's like a cleric type character. We don't have clerics in exactly in Aesopia. Look at the chainmail. I know. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I draw chainmail? I had a choice. No one told me to draw chainmail on that dog, and I did it anyway because I enjoy torturing myself. And I also made this bunny. Look, he's a gladiator class. He's a like a bare knuckle boxer. I posted Kaylee on my various social medias. I don't have a name for the bunny yet. What should the rarebit bare knuckle boxer be named? Somebody come up with a good name. I was probably going to post him this evening. Harvey. Of course, that's a good one. Yeah, it's a very fun project. That campaign's going on right now. Um, I'm hoping it does well because I want to get paid to draw more of those because it's fun. Are they planning some character standees? Yes. So the whole it's actually a whole story as to why Skirmisher is doing Aesopia. It's it used to be called it says based on a game that used to be called Quactica, which was developed by Steve Lortz, primarily because he had fun sculpting little animal characters and was like, I want to make a game where I can like an actual 3D sculpting, like metal miniatures, like pewter miniatures. And he was like, I want to make a little fighting game for these guys. So he developed a whole like skirmish fighting game, war game for these little animal characters, and it was called Quactica, and Skirmisher published that when it first came out a long, long time ago. And after Steve Lortz passed, he left the rights to Quactica and all of the minis with Skirmisher, and we didn't really like do anything with them for a long time. We had them for a long, long time, and we're just kind of like, okay, not sure what to do with this. And then when we developed the travel size role playing game, we were like, oh, this actually could work really well for this. And so it to, we've adapted the world from Quactica, which was Aesopia, into being just an RPG, the travel size role playing game. But we still have all of the original production molds. They've been being kept by Armorcast. So Armorcast is going to go into full production with all of these classic sculpts that Lortz and Clint Staples and a bunch of other really notable miniature sculptors had made years and years ago. They're going to be able to have those available again, and they're available through the Kickstarter. But we're also doing like paper miniature standees, files that you can print off yourself or like cut out on like chipboard with like a Cricut type thing. You got all sorts of options. I think there's also an option if you like for the campaign where you can just back for like $1 so that you have access to the add-ons, and then you can just buy whatever miniatures you like without even getting the game. If you're not interested in our RPG and you're just like, hey, I want some of these cool like rabbit knight and duck sorcerer miniatures, then you can just get those. That works too. But yeah, it's a cool project. I'm excited for it. I've had so much fun playtesting. Something about playing this game is just always such a delightful time. This is a fun rock. I like this rock. Like the kind of sedimentary stone layers going on here. Yay, rocks. All right, we're like 40-ish minutes in, so we've got about 20 minutes of stream left. Usually only stream for about an hour because at the end of an hour, I need to stretch. You should probably stretch. We should all get some water. Got to take care of these meat suits we're stuck in. Yay, it's a rock. All right. More rock. All right, let's get a couple of figures in here before time runs out for us this evening. Oh, it would help if I actually had some ink on my pen. I guess I pretty much just ran out. Whoops. There we go. There we go. There's a figure anyway. We can get probably a couple more. Whoops, what was that? What was that straight line? Let's see if we can kind of hide that. It's like whenever people are like, I could never work in like ink, traditional media like that, where if you make a mistake, it's just stuck on there. It's like, well, yeah, you just kind of learn to roll with mistakes. And if they're catastrophic enough, then you cover them in whiteout. That's what happens. You were crafting D&D terrain during a session the other day, scratching with a blade to add texture to cardboard, and totally got called out because the scratching was coming through the mic. Ah! Described variously as annoying, soothing, and strange. Played it off as the scratch of the scribe's pencil. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's one of those things of like, if you're in the right headspace for it, it can be that kind of soothing ASMR type thing. And if you are not in the right headspace for it, it's just like, that's super annoying. Please stop. Right, wasn't crunching potato chips. Crunch, 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 or some other truly annoying noise. I think the one that makes me the most absolutely driven nuts is when you'll be on a call with somebody or like a group, like, group meeting or whatever online, and somebody will be very obviously having a conversation with a different person in the room with them and not mute themselves. And they're just like having their conversation, very clearly not paying any attention to what is going on in the meeting that you all are in. And also, they're not muted, so they're also constantly like clipping over whoever is supposed to be talking during the meeting. And it's just like, oh my God, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Stop. Why would you do that? I think for the most part, it's usually just someone, doesn't realize that they're not muted, but some people are also like habitual offenders. And you're just like, are you really, really bad at using your microphone, or do you just not care? Clearly the most annoying. All right, we've got 3 little figures going here anyway. We've got a little less than 10 minutes left, so whilst I'm gonna work on some of our lovely fluffy sheep while I go over the YouTube things. In case you missed it earlier when I said so, I'm Amanda Call, and this is my YouTube channel. I go live just about every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern and work on some art, usually comic pages. A lot of times, what I am working on is my webcomic, Age of Night. That's not what I'm working on tonight. I'm working on something unrelated tonight. But very frequently, that's what I'll be working on. You can read Age of Night online for free at ageofnight.com. That's ageofnight.com. That updates just about every Wednesday. So there'll be a new comic page tomorrow. We're starting a new chapter. It's exciting. And while you can read the whole thing online, there are other ways that you can help support me as a comic creator. You can join my Patreon. Patrons of every level get their comic pages a week in advance. So while everyone just going to the public facing website will see the first page of the next chapter tomorrow, my patrons got to see it last week and they'll get to see page 2 tomorrow. That's pretty cool. You can also buy copies of the first 3 volumes of my comic, soon to be 4, on various online retailers like Amazon and Drive-Thru Comics, Fiction, and RPG, as well as on Skirmisher's website. Because in addition to publishing a bunch of cool games, they also do digital publishing of my comic, which I appreciate. And that is skirmisher.com. And if you don't want to do, if you don't want a book or you already have books and you aren't really keen on doing the monthly subscription situation, I do also have a Ko-fi, whatever. You know what I mean. ko-fi/Amanda Call Art. You can also follow me on various social medias. I'm on most of them to varying degrees of activeness as either Age of Night, spelled the same way as the comic, or Amanda Collard. What do I have coming up? Do I have anything coming up? I have a podcast appearance coming up soon, but I don't know if we're like just recording in a couple of weeks or if it's like a live broadcast. I don't know. I'll find out the details and let you guys know. I know what date I'm supposed to be there, but I'm not sure whether we're broadcasting live or whether it's going to be recorded and then released later. So I'll let you guys know as soon as I find out. Beyond that, when is the next time I have anything going on? I'm still in like my off season for events right now, so I don't have any events coming up anytime soon. Which is fine because I have enough other stuff to do. I'll get these last couple of fluffy little sheeps done in here. Last little sheeps. Last sheepies. All right, that is going to do us for this evening. So, at the beginning of the hour, we had a fully penciled page, but no inks done. So, over the course of this hour, we got those first two panels fully inked. We got a really good, strong start on this third panel. So, we will see how close to finishing everything we get next time. So, thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me, and I will see you all next time. Bye.